Hey guys, so in this video I'm going to show you how I personally go about tracking my filters. As I said before, this is what I do, it's not the right way, it's my personal way. If it just sparks an idea in your head for how you want to do it, or if you actually want to do it exactly how I did, that's perfectly fine. As long as it suits your personality, take what you want from it. Now I'm going to talk about what a filter is, what it's used for, the whole purpose of this. I would say it's relatively straightforward, but I think it's an important thing to cover because what's obvious to one person might not be to another, and I don't want to kind of assume anyone knows anything, because if you've never worked with Excel before, you're not going to know a lot of things, and that's fine. How would you know about something if you've never used it before? So I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you get a few tips from it. Enjoy, and see you in the next one.
Hey guys, welcome to part 2. So in this video I'm going to cover how I personally track my filters. Again, just to be clear, I'm not saying this is the right way to track your filters, I'm not saying it's the only way to track your filters, I'm saying it's what I've done, and if it just sparks an idea in your head of how you're going to go about it, or if you decide to do it the exact same, then obviously that's fine. But just to be clear, I'm not saying this is like the only way to go about it. So, if you want to see how this was created and you want to see how the formulas inside were calculated, then go and watch video 1 of this little series because we put this together in there. But moving on to tracking your filters. Now, I just want to explain the purpose of this, of tracking your filters, because I think a lot of people don't, and like in my mind, I don't think that's a good idea. I think you should track filters because you obviously want to make your strategy more profitable than the basic rules that you're given. You want to find your edge, you want to build that discretion, and I believe that's how it's done, for some of it anyway. So what a filter is it's essentially something that you're tracking where afterwards, so once you've got all your data, you're going to filter out all the times that your filter wasn't present, and you're going to see if your profitability improves, if your edge is greater. So just as an example, say for example you wanted to track whether RSI was overbought or oversold at setup. Afterwards you would filter out all the times that it was not present, so you'd only have the times when RSI is overbought or oversold. You would enter that data into whatever you're using to calculate your results, and you would see, okay, no, it doesn't improve my profitability for this strategy, it actually reduces it. Therefore, you would probably chuck that filter out. Whereas if you apply the filter and it made it more profitable, then, you know, it's something you might consider keeping. And also, to be clear, I mean, it goes a lot deeper than that. Say, for example, RSI overbought, oversold, didn't make it more profitable, but then applied with another filter, it might make it profitable. So you have to look into the different combinations, but we don't need to go into that now because this is just creating a spreadsheet. So anyway, to get started, so I'm going to put in here, so over here, I'm going to put a title of what I'm looking at. So testing first and third chance entry filters. So again, if you didn't see part 1, I'm doing a trend continuation strategy, and there are 3 different entries, depending on timing, depending on a lot of things. The point is, the filters that I wanted to look at for these 2 separate entries were the exact same. So if your filters are the same for different entry types, then you can just group it under one title, and you know, it doesn't really make a difference. So here I am then going to put the filter I want to look at. So let's say I want to look at, as I said, the relative strength index. Again, I know it seems extra that I'm basically writing relative strength index, but I want to know that in 5 years, if someone needs to use my sheet for some reason, that they're very clear about what I've done. I know it seems extra, but I just feel like, I don't know, like attention to detail. I just don't know why you wouldn't do stuff like this, but it's probably my personality. So anyway, what I did was I highlighted it and then I merged these. Then obviously, look, the row's gone huge. So then if you hover over the bottom of that row to the left-hand side, and you get that little arrow, as you can see, then double click, and it basically makes it normal again. So RSI, let's say I'm looking at two different filters. So I'm looking at where we overbought or oversold. And did we have divergence? These are just ideas to give you an example. Obviously yours are going to be different. Whoops. So there we go. And then align. I'm just going to align everything because it just makes it nice. There we go. Now, because these two filters relate to the same subheading, then I'm going to group these and make them all green, because just color code stuff, like, again, it makes it more appealing to your eye. And then let's just say subheading 2, subheading 3. Say I've only got one filter for subheading 2, then I'm just gonna, just as an example, you'll put the title here and you'll group it in the same way. And say, for example, this relates, let's say, to your higher time frame, and you want to look at two different filters on your higher time frame, then you'll do the same as before. So highlight, merge, highlight, color code, boom. And then what you want to do, because you see how, look, I've got a gap here relative to where I need to input data, so then just merge these, highlight and merge for them all. Bish bash bosh, done. Right, I want to make sure all of these are bold because same formatting, please. And then after that, by the way, I just realised if I'd done this one lower, then it would have been in line, but whatever, I didn't. And then highlight all of that, create a border, and bam, done. And then, okay, so for me, I also have my second chance entry, right? So I would just copy. So what I did was I just went here, you see the little arrow, and then, whoops, drag it along, Control C, or you can just do copy, and then here Control V, paste it, and there you have it. And then I'd write, because as I said, remember, my second chance entry filters were different from first and third chance. So to make things straightforward, let's just do them separately. Second chance entry filters, and then I'll change it to whatever you want to put in. So, right? Maybe it's going to be like this. Maybe I'm only going to have 3 filters that I'm looking at. Okay? So that's what you do. Now, as I said, I find it unclear when it's just all this white space here, like it hurts my eyes. It's just not pleasant to look at. And say, for example, I fill this section out. This is going to be white still, and I just don't like it. It's not clear to me. So what you can do is highlight all the white cells that you're going to put data in. Go to Conditional Formatting, New Rule. Under here, select Rule Type, click Format Only Cells That Contain. And under Format Only Cells With, click on Blanks, Format, Pattern Style. You can do whatever you want here. Like if you want it to be bright blue, then do bright blue. I personally do this one, Thin Reverse Diagonal Stripe. Boom. And then look, it's all blanked out. And when you're, so let me just show you like the purpose of this. So for example, so to be clear, I use a number 1 to say yes. So if RSI was overbought or oversold, I would put a 1 in. And if it wasn't, so for no, I put a 0. Look, it goes white. So it's just nice and clear. And then say I was just looking at first chance, then this is automatically going to be blanked out for me, very clear. And then say here I was looking at second chance, I can be like yes, yes, no. So 1 is yes, 0 is no. And that's essentially my entry filters. That's what I did. I'll then merge these at the top. Final touches, merge. And I would also make these white because we've already established that I'm extra. And there you go. Make this white. Actually, I'm going to merge these. There. So pretty. And then I would basically make all this white. Because I'm extra. But I think it looks good. Right? So then there, you've got all of your filters done. You go along and you literally just put a yes or a no in the box, and that's about it. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it was somewhat helpful. As I said, this is a bit more straightforward than the third video, which is going to be, I would say, the more like complicated one, but I'm going to make it nice and simple so that it's easy to follow. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you thought, and see you in the next one.